Okay, everybody keeps saying that Ups and Downs needs an intro. Fine. Smackdown, Smackdown, it's a Smackdown. Sometimes I will smile and other times I will frown. See? Now you regret it, and so do I. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the show where I, Simon Miller, take my finger of power, and sometimes I stick it in the air, and sometimes I stick it in the ground. That just means good and bad. It's a very strange concept, but here we are, and it's never gonna stop until I'm dead. And then somebody else will take over, and then they'll die, and eventually the concept will run its course. What? Let's up those downs. We had this video to open Smackdown, reminding you about everything going on with John Cena and the Bloodline. Just gonna tell you this, it was flubbing brilliant. I mean, it really did make me feel like I was experiencing the greatest moment of my life as I sat at home and watched TV. That can't be good. Clearly WWE was looking for early pops this evening too, because who came out to start the show? It was Duke the Dumpster Drozy. Of course it wasn't. It was LA Knight. I think everybody must have thought this was Raw as well, because before LA could barely say anything, all of a sudden Paul Heyman interrupted. And of course, he was flanked by Solo Sikoa and that crazy guy, Jimmy Uso. He was on put-over duties as he acknowledged that LA Knight was probably the next big thing in the industry. And when the crowd responded by going, yeah, he was like, man, I hate it when you do that. Made me laugh. He also said that these constant chants do piss him off, and when it came to La, who was stood in the ring, he has made a terrible decision because he did indeed cross the bloodline, and now he has to die. Like, he didn't say that, but that was most definitely his point. I didn't care about any of this, and he shut him down when he pulled a receipt out of his pocket and went, nope, I'm not buying any of this BS. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so damn good. Seriously, if you are a WWE superstar or a wrestler, we need more of this. Jimbo then stole the microphone and was all like, LA Knight, you're not making it to Fastlane. I was like, Jimmy, nobody can believe you now because you said that about John Cena, and he's definitely going to the pay-per-view premium live event. And just when they were about to whip his ass, who of course popped up to help, was John Cena. Heyman then convinced the Line of Blood not to do anything because I guess they hadn't been authorized by Roman Reigns. You got to give Daddy a call first. But LA Knight had a great idea in the main event of the evening. Why don't they do him versus Jimbo? Seemingly everyone agreed. So yes, this was the most WWE thing ever, but it did build up the show and it got some noise. It also builds to an angle that is so damn good. I was doing the dance of joy. And look, I just like seeing LA Knight be this over. Warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, pro wrestling tees, up. But then you got to confirm that the Judgment Day had come to Smackdown because we saw them backstage. Damian Priest was like, man, why is JD McDonagh here? Rhea Ripley was like, you better shut up. So we did. It also meant it was time for the oddest pairing in a while, because it was Charlotte and Asuka taking on Damage Control. I was like, man, if you go through all the stories of 2023, Charlotte and Asuka would not be tagging together. Of course, their opponents were Bayley and IYO SKY, although I will say this, actually a really good damn match. Less IYO SKY as well, who almost instantly went for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. Although sadly it didn't work, although one day it should, when Charlotte came back with this tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. I mean, talk about escalation. Asuka then tagged in and she chose to do all the chops. And Sky went for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Now look, it didn't work for a second time, but she's now my favorite forever. The champ then went for the tag, but Bayley was too busy yelling at the crowd, so she didn't see it. And I bet IYO SKY remembers that. And after Asuka had drop-kicked both of them, we cut to the commercial break, and when we returned, Bayley was just in control. So I guess we have to make it up for ourselves. Therefore, I'm going to say that Bayley was going, I am the Empress of yesterday. And Asuka was like, wait a minute. No, you're not. I am the Empress of tomorrow. And then she did the math and she was like, oh my gosh, if she is the Empress of yesterday, how will I be the Empress? Because she will be the Empress before me. And she was totally taken aback by this. Bales punched her in the face. That'll do. As we are talking about commercials.
Do you love WWE?
Yeah.
You love AEW?
Yeah.
Well, next Tuesday, even though there's no competition whatsoever at all, and we never said that, it's NXT versus Dynamite in a battle to see who gets the most money when TV contracts have to be renewed. So strap yourself in, fill the G's, and get ready for the best night in sports entertainment ever. Featuring John Cena, Paul Heyman, Asuka, The Undertaker's Dom, Cody Rhodes, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, Adam Copeland, and many more. Crazy Night Tuesday Wrestling, only on Fox, or TNT, or USA, or something. Get big, get hard, get massive. That sounded really wrong.
This all meant that we did build to the hot tag for Flair, and Bayley tagged in at the same time, when Charlotte hit the ultimate comeback move of 2023, the crossbody. Because all wrestlers now love the body of the cross. The Queen then wrecked all of Damage Control with fallaways and backbreakers, because she was trying to break their backs. When we got the tag klaxon, everybody got in there and hit everybody else, and then everybody was down. Of course, it ended with Charlotte and Asuka going for a move, but Bayley ducking, meaning Flair smacked Asuka right in the face. Although, because it is Charlotte, this didn't make a difference. Eventually, she hit natural selection, and she still got the win. Although, of course, this is a good thing when you look at WWE, because if she got the victory here, she's probably not going to get the victory at Fastlane. We haven't even pulled the trigger properly with IYO SKY yet. She should not be losing that belt. I actually thought this was pretty enjoyable, though, and it was fun. The most forgotten word in pro wrestling. Getting it up. This is when we got down to crossing the streams, because the Bloodline walked into their locker room, and they were like, oh, hell no, because who was sat there? It was the flubbing Judgment Day. Oodalally. But the best part about this is that they all got in there and looked at each other, and then they went to the break, and when we came back, they were still looking at each other, which means for 3 minutes, we just got this. It was weird. It was really good though, because Rhea Ripley took charge here and said, look, everybody out other than Paul Heyman, and yes, we do have to underline that the people staring at each other the most were Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa. So we are definitely teasing something between them. This is when we cut away too, because we were going to come back to it later. And this was also very clever. Keep people tuned in. We're going to recap with everything that has been happening between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits later, which was very well timed, because it was then time for Bob versus Rey. I just want to say this too, that both Mysterio and Lashley are heading towards their 50s, and yet they still are both amazing. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's proper 2 + 2 = potato, especially as Bobby Lashley, he is aging in reverse. It means I love them and want to give them a hug, and as ever, Rey just kept trying to go for the 619 here, and failing. I have picked up on this over the last few weeks. He absolutely sucks at trying to get it on the first attempt, so he needs to go back to school. What? Otherwise though, because Lashley was so much bigger, we played this card. He was just throwing Rey Mysterio's around like he was nothing. I mean, at one point it was a bit like, getting kind of uncomfortable now. Maybe we should stop the match. Eventually, Rey was able to come back with the springboard moonsault though, so there it is again. I mean, what a flubbing legend he is. It's so damn good. Bob also went for the bear hug a couple of times. Hopefully he had been practicing that in the week by hugging bears, because how else would you do it? When Rey decided, well, I know how to get out of this, and he booted him right in the head. I'll do it. Mysterio then started to reverse all of Lashley's power moves, including this excellent tornado DDT for a 1-2-ooh, but that just really pissed Bob off, so he grabbed the masked man, and he threw him into Barry Barricade. I was like, can't we leave Barry alone? He's already dead. As Santos Escobar was here too, Bobby then decided, well, I'm gonna murk you, but that was a really bad idea, because Rey Mysterio then pushed Bobby into rear of the ring post, and he hit the 619, and just as he was about to hit his finish, enter shenanigans. At this stage, the Street Profits and the LWO were getting into a big brawl. And honestly, the move that Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford did to Joaquin Wilde, they basically murdered him on the outside. So surprise, surprise, Rey was like, well, now I've got to take my butt and put it in your face. That's what he did. Did that spring and senton thing. It also meant that because he is a wrestler and somebody was doing things outside of the wrestling ring, totally forgot he was in a match. He turned around, splat, he got the spear. 1, 2, 3. There is more to this too, because later Rey was like, oh no, the LWO have been taken out of Action Santos, so now what are we going to do at Fastlane, because we do have a 6-man tag, and I'm going to guess that their mystery partner is somebody who just wants to be cool, otherwise he's going to spit in your face. That sounded absolutely terrible, but look, good match. I really like this new version of the Street Profits. They are so damn aggressive. Bobby Lashley is just awesome as well. Everything worked. Giving it an up. Which is when we went back to the locker room and we got this chat between Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman. My word, what the hell is going on? Because essentially Rhea thinks that if the Judgment Day and the Bloodline did come together, they would be unstoppable. And Paul was like, well, that's a great idea, but of course, I just have to call Roman Reigns and get it authorized. I was like, man, if I was Roman on a Friday night, I would take my phone and I'd throw it into the toilet. Ripley was so good though, because she stopped him and was like, nah, man, it's already been authorized. And even though Paul kept trying to push this, Rhea responded with, oh yeah, well you should acknowledge me. I was like, oh no, you didn't. Heyman then freaked out because you cannot say that in this locker room. Suppose it's like blaspheming in a church. When Ripley continued to poke the bear, because he was like, oh yeah, you've been watching Raw? Your old boy Jey Uso acknowledges me, and you don't want none of that. She then let him make his little phone call as she left the room, but I love the fact that Rhea Ripley is the de facto leader of the Judgment Day, and she came across like a psychopath here. I mean, she was so damn intense. Either way, this was really good because the factions do unite later. It's quite clear they still hate each other, but you may just say, we're building to a game that is about war. That one didn't really work. It was good though. Up. We then got another video for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, so everything crossed. This time we finally do something with them, when it was basically confirmed that Dragon Lee is now on the main roster. A round of applause for him. This is all off the back of the fact he had that amazing match with Dominic Mysterio. You love to see it. He's also facing Austin Theory, which we had set up last week. Flub me sideways. He won. Now, Theory got the microphone beforehand, and he's now calling himself the 150 million hitman, because of course, his video with The Rock has done 150 million hits, and he's taking credit for it. I actually think that's quite a good idea. Dragon didn't care for this though, so he just walloped Austin, which brought out Grayson Waller, complete with music. I was just laughing. He must have been backstage going, listen, mate, if one bad thing happens, I'm gonna go out there. And then it did, he went, right, here I go. Once again, of course, because Lee is a grappler in a squared circle, he was absolutely flabbergasted that somebody else existed. So Theory took over. Dragon still was able to smash out a German suplex, Vigates, when Grayson just got on the ring apron. And was this disqualification? No. Did the referee care? Not really. So once again, Austin Theory took over. This is why I love wrestling. Bless this Dragon Lee though, because after he had done a kick that was super, he hit all these axe handles, 1980s moves forever, when he hit the Liger Bomb for a pretty damn good one too. Ooh. Grayson then went absolutely distraction crazy, but Austin Theory just couldn't put this guy away. And at one point, Waller dragged his mate out the ring. And once again, did anybody care? Not really. He also slammed Dragon's head into the ring, which is a terrible idea, because what if he had turned around and gone, oh, and breathed fire on him? Well, we got more shenanigans, because Cameron Grimes turned up, he attacked Grayson Waller, and once again, Austin Theory couldn't handle this at all. Who is this human being that is in my vision? And he got hit with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and he lost. WWE's favorite finish. This was so weird, it was like somebody had just seen Grimes backstage and gone, oh, there you are. And I'm so sorry, your invitation never arrived. It must have got lost in the mail. But look, I don't mind this at all. Like, Dragon Lee and Cameron Grimes are kind of a weird pairing, but sometimes you just want people to win. I was happy that Dragon Lee won. It also the Grayson Waller and Austin Theory being put together is such a good idea. So I am giving it an up. Bring it down. The prize roll-up counter goes up by 1. We then got this really cool video reminding you at Fastlane later we are getting Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. And yes, this is when Corey Graves said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was pretending he didn't exist. Whatever the damn line is. Now straight away everyone's like, oh my gosh, CM Punk is coming back to WWE, because he did say this when he was down in Ring of Honor and in the Wrestling Observer newsletter this week. Well, Dave Meltzer essentially wrote, the two are in talks. But here is the deal, we don't know. We don't know anything. Maybe he's going back. Maybe he's not going back. Maybe one day hair will sprout out of my head and I won't be a bald a-hole anymore. I am just going to sit back and enjoy professional wrestling, because that's the way. Also, when it comes to this World Heavyweight Championship match, I've sort of changed my mind. I think that Seth should win, but Nakamura has knackered his back so much that out come Damian Priest and he catches in and he becomes the champion. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. That's what I would do. We also learned that next week's show is totally gonna rock because Roman has finally remembered, oh yeah, I meant to go to work and he's gonna be here, as are Pretty Deadly. They are back, yes. The real fascinating one though is that Triple H is also gonna be on the SmackDown and he has a big announcement. So this could be that we are getting War Games, it could be to do with CM Punk, or maybe, just maybe, it will be to do with Jade Cargill. We do not know. Gonna have to tune in. Which is when we did get to our main event, LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. And of course it ended in a DQ. What else? It's also quite quick as well, which surprised me. But look, this is one of these WWE angle matches. It did end with a big explosion. And by now, if you don't expect this, it's like ordering a pizza and going, It's not what I was expecting. Who knew it was just cheese on toast? After they had done some wrestling too, they had both built up their meters, which is when they went for their finishes. But of course, when you do that, and you get a good reversal counter in there, well, you cancel each other out. We then got all the super kicks. You could even call it a party. When LA Knight was like, I don't enjoy being kicked in the face. So he just started stomping on Jimmy. And I'm like, man, it's a little bit uncomfortable. He's also convinced LA to go for his elbow. And as soon as he did this, Solo Sikoa just rang in, he beat him up, and we got the disqualification. I was like, Solo, what were you waiting for? You could have done this at second one. It did lead to quite the end to Smackdown though, because all of a sudden John Cena's music hit, so he came out to make a save, when instantly the Judgment Day's theme played, and they were here too. It also saw Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman shaking hands, which was massive. And don't forget, this also means that Cena and the Judgment Day were backstage going, look, if you do anything, we're gonna go out there. Oh, he did it, let's go. It was really cool though, because they surrounded the ring like they were the Shield or something, when all of a sudden Jey Uso was here, and everybody went crazy, but that was nothing, because then Cody Rhodes' music started too, and this place came unglued. I mean, the numbers game was kind of tallied up here, but not really, and a big brawl broke out, and it basically ended with poor JD McDonagh getting hit with every single finisher, the last one being the Crossroads, as our heroes celebrated, Smackdown went off air. So it surely does mean that something huge is going down at Fastlane. That's what it felt like here, and maybe all the heels are going to win. Once again, got two words for you, War Games. It is most definitely coming. Most definitely getting it up. So it really was a fabulous ending to SmackDown. It got me all pumped, as was this show overall. WWE took every single one of their angles and went, oh, hi, maybe you want to watch the pay-per-view premium live event, and I agree. Up. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen right now, which is AEW Ups and Downs for Dynamite. I appreciate the support. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning on Sunday to up those downs for Fastlane. There's a lot of wrestling right now. In fact, I see Irish whips in my dreams, which sounds very weird. You have a great day. Goodbye.